Hi, this is Tanya the Lady Strange. Welcome to another weekly collective reading for January 18th of 2026 to January 24th of 2026. That's how I'm guided and how I do my readings for the week. This is a energetic reading, so it's more the energies that we can be mindful or aware of that applies to this collective. Or what may resonate with you. It could be divinatory too, or predictive. But things change moment to moment. Not everything's fated. Fate does play a part in our things. But yes, if you hear that rumbling thing, that's Willow on my lap again. This is take two because she interrupted the first part. So let's get to the reading and energies of this week. And the crystal this week I was guided to and I pulled from using my intuition and guides. I haven't been casting lately. I actually pulled out a palm stone I was guided toward that I have not used probably anytime recently or maybe in months, if not longer. And that is brown red agate. Now agate comes in a very different various forms there's like tree agate, um, there's like dendrite agate, which I believe those may be one and the same. There is regular brown agate, regular agate. So there's many varieties. So if you have other agates, you can certainly still substitute their energy or a crystal that has qualities and energies. If you don't collect crystals like I do or work with them, you can still certainly embody the energy of those. So the message that agate has is beautiful red, brown agate, palmstone. I haven't worked with it, so it's a newer thing for me. Um, the energies are similar as a guidance as to the garnet energy of last week that guided us. Certainly, there are two different, though, even though they have similar qualities, they definitely have different vibrations and vibratory energies. Sorry about that, stumbling over my words. But vibratory energies. I don't edit my videos, so yeah. So the vibratory energies of this one versus the garnet, which I believe it's my birthstone, so I used it. My birthday was last week. You can check out that reading if you feel so inclined to see if it resonated or still may hold a message for you. Just because it's a weekly reading doesn't mean it may not hold a nugget for you. But the garnet is very fiery, even though it's connected to the root chakra and earth. That one feels very fiery in its passion, its drive, and was telling us to use our will. The agate does ask us to connect with our creation and passions, just like the garnet, but this is in a very more earthy energy that I feel was more will driven. This one is bringing it down to earth, the energies of earth. That is the material realm, such as our job, our careers, our home life, our relationships, our finances, things that are tangible, things that we create with our hands, our minds, our energies, and what we're putting forth that we can see or will continue to see the results of. So that is like the building block that Agate is telling me this week. Continue to build your foundations and your building blocks for that. But also protect your energy, but sure it is needed and necessary to have an effective, empowered week and experiences. Sorry about that. Kind of hard to maneuver with a cat. But so it's saying to protect your energy, but sure it is needed and is necessary and is appropriate for your experiences. But to remember first and foremost that this is your energy is yours and yours to use, whether it's in magic and sorcery or just day to day. It's a precious commodity and it helps to keep you rooted in reality and bring about those everyday experiences that we need, because our human life experiences, along with our soul and our magician's path, if that's what we have, or our divinity sovereignty, are all one and the same, but our day to day definitely and our humanity definitely dictates our experiences. This is also a card, a, a crystal of healing. That is physical healing and emotional healing. I know I am still recovering from, and you can check out that video of my horrible flu I've had, along with the health complications that I had. That was quite the horrible experience. But this is selling focus on healing. physical healing, emotional healing, mental and energetic healing. They are all part of a reality and to keep us in a reality. So you can certainly look up the different aspects on Google even of what agate can bring into this week and direct us. And with that being said, the tarot this week is going to be the Dark Reflections Tarot. I chose this one as it's different, just like the agate. I don't know if I have a first impression sort of walkthrough of this in 2025 in a playlist. So if you're interested and feel inclined, check it out. It's an indie deck. Look at the back of it. Again, Willow's heavy. So it's like a black obsidian cracked mirror. Amazing. And look at that beautiful etching and the flash of it. So yes, an indie deck. This gal loves her indies. Not that I don't love my mass markets either, but I really value and work with in the more magical aspects of my indies. This deck also has the images are kind of a distortion or a different dark reflection of the traditional RWS. So yes, so let's see what this message has this week for us, along with the message of the agate that has guided us so much already so far. So what this collective needs to know on an effective, powerful way, and she already gave me a card. So this will be our first. And then we'll be pulling two more. We have the Chariot, a major arcana. So she is our first card, and she was also a jumper. So that's obviously a bit more important. And I dropped it and trying to maneuver with the cat. Yeah, me full of bloopers and discombobulation. So that is the Chariot. I'm being told to shuffle and get the other two. So let's see. What does this collective need to know along with the Chariot and the energies of agate and discombobulation or disorder? I had to put the cat down. She was just heavy and moving and impeding the reading a little bit. We don't need that. We need to know what message the universe, the spirit or spirits have for us and the guidance. But yes, things might be a little messy, and beware of cat. Okay. But I love my cats. I love Willow. She's just needy sometimes, especially when we're filming. So what else in tandem with the Chariot this week? And another jumper. So we'll take that. Six of Swords. So the swords are a minor card. It is from the Sword Suit, obviously. It is a air card in correspondence to the elements, and it has to do with logic and intellect, discernment, things that we need to cut away, prune away, to put that clarity into our lives. So that's a good thing with the chariot. Wow. Yeah, it is what it is. Yes. I talk all day at my job. Is my weekend off? But yes, I think that kind of affects it. I have to put my logic in there. I don't know. Plus, I have messages coming through. Last one I'm just going to take from the bottom. I'm being guided as. And that is the Four of Pentacles, which is Pentacles is another minor. It has to do with the things that are tangible in the material realm. So very appropriate with the agate's message and energies. So we have a major and two minors. And so we got the Chariot. Again, look at the sense and different distortion in this deck. She's a beautiful deck. I love her and her colorations in this and the thought behind it. So this is definitely one of my more favorite and probably slightly darker inclined decks. Tanya loves her darker decks and darker magic. She is, after all, I am the Lady Strange. So this is one of my stranger decks, of course, and therefore one of my prized possessions. So the Chariot is speaking to me of, yes, moving forward. But because, you see, the actual Sphinx is unlike the other chariots where it's in a position of moving forward, the white and the dark ones, or the horses and such. This one's sitting. So it is saying, yes, be prepared to move, but be mindful of your actions and the journey you're on, the life and the path you're on, because that's where the Six of Swords goes, definitely with that chariot. It's not saying charge forward or do full harnessing. It's saying about preparing for the journey. You are in a preparatory and initiatory situation as collectivist. We're still in the first couple weeks of 2026, so we got a way to go this year. We're not going to rush it, of course. That's what that chariot is actually telling me in the Six of Swords. Use your intellect on your journey. Be mindful, be clear and discerning and intentional this week with your experiences. What do you want to move forward this year with, this month, this year? The different experiences throughout the year that you may be planning. How do you want to change things? How can you evaluate your different resources um, and prepare yourself logically for the journey? Know that you are making the changes that need to and will continue to do so, because the Six of Swords is also about logic and discernment, as is that using your voice. What do you want to bring about, especially if um, you are using various intentions, goals, and resolutions. You are a sorceress and magician and practitioner, much like myself, a spiritualist, or whatever path you may be, and just the day to day life that you are creating for yourself and those people and things that matter. So know that you are in a transitional phase. This collective has been in a transitional phase for quite a while now, and this is another step of the journey. Last week we talked about wrapping up a part of a journey and closing loose ends. I have done that. I have stabilized myself in many ways. I believe this collective has too. That's why it's reminding us of we are on a constant journey with that chariot and a constant evaluation to use that. But also know that you are traveling and you are moving forward, even if it seems like you're sitting still sometimes. And lastly, Four of Pentacles is the earthly realm. So this one is speaking to me. Four of Pentacles can be about balance. It can be about over control, holding on to resources too much. This one's telling me about finding balance, kind of like the agate. Finding a healthy balance in of exchange. Know that you have many resources to work with and that you can balance those out to not only work with your present day-to-day experience this week, and that you have the knowledge and things that you can bring into tangible effort, but also that what you can plan and use for the future. Yes, things are very uncertain and the world is just getting more and more difficult for each of us in our different experiences and just throughout the world itself and the different cultures and what each thinks some are worse than others, but we each have our own perspectives and perceptions and experiences. So nothing should be discredited either. So this is saying use your resources wisely. You do have them. Find your sense of balance and grounded in this reality. So what can you use this week? And what can you use to bring forward? And be mindful of that. And be mindful that you do have the control you need without being over controlling. Let's put it that way. Let's see what the oracles have this week. So I'm being guided to use Haunted Manor nets, no surprise. The color palette and voice certainly matches that. She works very well with other decks. No surprise, she makes an appearance all the time on my channel. And for good reason, she's an out-of-print indie oracle. So, yeah, we got one. Let's see what we have. We have, hey, how appropriate. Set sail. Life has its ups and downs. Well, it certainly does with that, with the message, the mixed message of the chariot about taking action steps, but evaluating your next steps on the journey and how you can actually use your energy this week and make the plans and the discernment you need to and what you continue to need to let go and what you need to prepare for your next phase and phases that are coming up in the next upcoming weeks and months in this year and a year, potentially the years to come. But do not be over focused on the future. But remember, everything has its constant movement and balance. Even if we feel like we're stagnant or sitting still, we're technically not. We are on a journey. Each of us is on our own journeys, but we affect each other's journeys, like I said. So that's appropriate and goes very well with that Six of Swords and that Chariot's message this week of being mindful of that balance and finding discernment and planning and using your logic, but using what you have as tangible because you do have what you need. Just remember that you can healthily control things and alter situations without being over controlling at that or trying to force things. And lastly, we are pulling one from blue, well, one or two, I believe, in being guided toward from these blue bones. Yep, there she goes. There's two. She ready with one shuffle through at me. So today the cards are being thrown at me. Messages already there. Let's see what we have. This deck is an indie deck by Rose Bay. It's 105 cards. It is an investment. It just like the other indies that I showed today, but I will purchase them all again. They are worth everything in their value, their voice, their messages, their magic, and their aesthetic. And great for the collection. And just to wrap this up, we have the medicine. Again, appropriate. See, Spirit's giving some very clear messages this week. The medicine and unspoken. Okay, so what this is telling me to wrap up our message with is the medicine, healing, being mindful of your energy, your resources, the give and take and the exchange this week. And what are you preparing for and laying the groundwork with and doing logically and knowing that you are in a journey and you are starting another phase and transitioning from another, just like last week. It all goes in tandem. That's where the agate comes into play in the message. So again, the medicine is self-care, self-awareness, and awareness of the energies and things you take in and you give, and using that right and using your magic. Magic doesn't have to be, you have to be a practitioner. Magic can be your day-to-day applicable experiences and what you're putting forth in your effort. But the medicine is taking care of yourself and know that you are moving forward and healing even when it seems not to. And unspoken. Look at that beautiful image in the blues in this deck. And unspoken. So maybe the things that you need to heal, like that Six of Swords, that you need to, with your thoughts, um, that you think you are planning, that you need to get your intentions a little bit more clear, and what is it that that is unspoken that may be bothering you? What do you need to say, whether it's just out loud to yourself when you're by yourself or shout out, whether it's to a close confidant or friends, whether it is about your work situation. Again, it's something unspoken, maybe something that is getting in the way. Be mindful of that. Speak your truth, but remember to do so in a considerate way, but mainly for yourself. Composure and using your voice, but embracing your voice. And with that being said, I hope this message just makes some kind of sense and reaches where it needs to. Again, please like, comment, and subscribe as it will help my channel grow. And also with that, stay strange.